Lateral is a keyword, not a new type of join, of ANSI join. Let's have a look at the definition of lateral in the Snowflake documentation, which, by the way, is very good otherwise. Yeah? In the from clause, the lateral keyword allows an inline view to reference columns from a table expression. Okay, and then they define what do they mean, by a table expression, by inline view, and so on. Okay, but then look at this paragraph. They continue like this: a lateral join behaves more like a lateral join, and so on, unlike the output of a non-lateral join. So is lateral indeed a join, or it is something else? Yes, definitely. Lateral, how can I say, could be part of a join. But when they talk about joins, you have the joins in SQL in the sense of ANSI joins, yeah, the standard joins, and you may have some extended joins, yeah, used with null values like the exclude joins and so on. What lateral does, it will extend. Keep this in mind, an existing kind of join. And in this case, look, you have a comma here between the what they call table expression and the inline view, which is prefixed, yeah, by lateral. And yeah, definitely, what can I say? They have inline view and they have parentheses here. And you'll see that, in fact, the inline view here, because in this case, they use it as a subquery. Yeah. But the inline view could be simply a table function call. Yeah, we've seen before that we used before, how can I say, flatten, for instance, and we didn't need to include it in parentheses. Why is this? Because this is also misleading. This sends a message that the lateral could be a function. No, lateral is not a function. It's simply a prefix keyword. And let's experiment a bit with this to clarify it properly. And just keep in mind, how can I say, this is not just Snowflake, but I've seen this in many other database systems, relational database systems that implemented lately lateral. That at some point they describe it as a join. And this is bad because this sends a bad message, for people just like myself and just like yourself, trying to assimilate, to understand properly what is this lateral, you know, they will not understand it properly otherwise. Okay, so I will switch here to our web UI where I created a new SQL worksheet and I pasted, yeah, basically the content of the SQL file. Yeah, so check the attached SQL file and paste here as usual its content if you want to repro it as well. Otherwise, just follow me. I will use the same TPCH SF1 sample available already in Snowflake sample data. Okay, and I'll not describe it anymore. What's happening inside? You have regions and you have nations. Okay, a region, as you can see here, could be a continent or a region. Yeah, an area, Middle East in this case. Yeah, otherwise a continent, Americas. Yeah, and the name is the country. Is basically a country. So it's very simple. Yeah, a continent should have one or more countries. So one-to-many relationship, trivial, basic. Okay, I executed already this query, and you see, yeah, you may have different continent names or region names, and yeah, you will have here one single entry for each country that belongs to a specific region. No big deal. Why I did this? Because yeah, this was using an inner join. But let's see now. Let's see something else. What if you separate? Yeah, because you can always do this. Instead of saying, look here, nation, you can always try to derive a subquery from this one. And you can paste it here. Yeah. And in this case, the matching condition will no longer be on. Okay. Will be on where. And look, what's good, Snowflake allows you all these kind of shortcuts, yeah, because in other databases you cannot do this. In PostgreSQL, you have to pass on true or on one equal one, which is silly, but it is what it is. What can I say? These are legacy constructs from older SQL, and that's all over the place in other relational databases. Snowflake try to improve this, try to get rid of this. And in this case, let's see. If we run this one, this should be equivalent to what we had before. Yeah, let's have a look at this one, guys. Yeah, look, join nation. You can double check. This should work. this should work because yeah, you can try it, but surprise, surprise, is not working. And what they say to me, that's an invalid R. Okay, now you can, just like usual. Sometimes with Snowflake, this is what you do, what you have to do to scratch your head to say, okay, why is not working? Okay, it's hard to figure out. What you can see, definitely, you have an R, which is an alias, basically, from something that you have outside the correlated subquery. So you have to deduct that. Oh, that's why it's not working because I have a reference to something which is not part of my subquery. Okay, but you have to do it yourself. Yeah, they cannot simply tell you that yes, you have to add a lateral keyword here because that's a fix, guys. If you don't know about it, what can I say? It is what it is. And yeah, this is very silly. How can I say? Yeah. But let's see something else. Because we looked at the call with flatten. Does this work with the cross join? And yeah, let's use, just like before, let's use a comma because you can say cross join is supported, yeah, for backward compatibility, but you can say this one, yeah. Let me try this one. You see? Let's see if this works. Uh-huh, this works. When you have a correlated subquery in a from clause, yeah, and the query depends on something that you defined before. Yeah, they call it table definition. I don't know what they called it. It doesn't matter. This is an inline view and so on. Okay, we get lost in translation. The point is you have a correlating, in this case, a correlated subquery which depends, yeah, on something. In this case, you see the R alias R comes from something that you selected before. Okay, and you specify a join. All sorts of joins here. You have to specify lateral. I know it's silly. It's silly, yeah. We'll talk more about this. But at the end, let's dig in something else, yeah, because definitely on the second part where they said, okay, you have an inline view, and you see that's why they use parentheses in their description there. But here you may have a function call, and this should be a table function call because it's in the from. Okay, you can do this, and look here, yeah, I will define another subquery here just to create an array on the fly. Here, what I want to demo, yeah, let's start with the beginning. Yeah, does this work? Let's have it this way because, yeah, this is what I'm interested in, basically, and I'll be interested in something else. And I'm not interested about the rest here. I'm interested to see if, is this working? Okay, is this working? Let's see. With absolutely no, this is not working. Okay, flatten. And yeah, you may say, here it's interesting because you see, you've seen before that lateral is not necessary, but this can be replaced with stable. But what can I say? This will work because this is equivalent and you don't need a lateral. But in other cases, may not work. So once again, that's why it's confusing. Yeah, why is this working sometimes with and it's not working? When is lateral truly required? Because in this case here, you see, lateral is not required. Okay, okay, guys. So, long story short, it's just gossip. Yeah, I just read it on in some forum. But the story is that long ago, I think in the 70s, yeah, IBM invented basically the SQL language. It was called SQL with SEQUEL. Yeah, that's why some people pronounce it still pronounce it SQL. It's not from SQL Server. Okay, but when they created the SQL language, basically for DB2 at that moment, or it was on mainframes and so on, a different era. Okay, a totally different era. They defined the correlated subqueries for the select projection list and for the where clause, and yeah, maybe for having and so on. But they forgot to to properly create this for the from clause. And yeah, they had a bunch of queries in the from that were failing, and they try to fix it. They try to fix it and to keep backward compatibility. I don't know, backward compatibility for things that failed. Okay, they came up. First of all, they came up with a table. Yeah, used as a prefix, like here, and some people there they didn't like it. They came up with lateral, and yeah, this passed. So you see the confusion, and you see the way it is used today, and I think it became part of the standard SQL, ANSI SQL standard. What we have today is a table expression. Okay, this is what they call on the left side. You have an ANSI join, and some people forget to mention this. Yeah, this could be a comma. A comma is an equivalent of a cross join. And then you have lateral and an inline view. In the inline view, the inline view could be a subquery, as I said before, a correlated subquery. What does it mean, a correlated subquery? It's important. That's a query that depends on something you defined before in the table expression. Okay, it's not an independent subquery. Okay, it's not a non-correlated subquery. And the same, you may have today a function call, a table function call, using as an argument, as a parameter, something which is based also on something defined before in the table expression. So if you don't use this lateral, as you've seen, yeah, in Snowflake, your query will fail, which is silly. And it fails also with a wrong error message. You'll have to figure out what it is. It is what it is. Okay. And let's see, because there's a lot of confusion here. I intended to write an article about this. Maybe I'll do. Okay, because I see a lot of confusion everywhere. It's not just Snowflake. Okay, this got propagated from a bad design long ago, decades ago, and some people just try to keep backward compatibility to be compatible with the standard, to be compatible with whatever, to copy what other databases already adopted, because yeah, this exists also in Oracle, in PostgreSQL, in SQL Server, and so on. So first of all, let's clear everything up here. Lateral is a keyword. Okay, it's not a new type of ANSI join, like the inner join, outer join, whatever, full join, you name them. So lateral is not also a function. Don't use parentheses. You see, even me, I use here in live view just to separate this one, but lateral does not require parentheses and arguments. Okay, it's a prefix keyword. Lateral, okay, follows the table expression plus an ANSI join. As I said before, this could be a comma, but this works with an inner join, outer join most of the time, not always. Okay, not always. With a comma, this is a cross join, and you specify basically the where. Yeah, your where would be the element that you pass from the table expression. Yeah, in the whatever you have next. So use lateral as a prefix to a correlated from subquery. Yeah? Subquery in the from clause. Okay. Lateral is optional. This is very important. Lateral is optional in some databases like Postgres or Couchbase, and when I looked at lateral in so many other databases, because I did some research here, yes, I figured out by myself, we don't need this. We don't need this. This adds to the confusion. And this is like a warning. Oh, some people in the past made a big mistake, design mistake, because otherwise you don't need it. Your query shouldn't fail without a lateral. This is silly, but it is what it is. Okay. And you've seen also, to add to the confusion, in Snowflake in particular, lateral can prefix flatten, but without a table wrapper, because otherwise you have to use a table wrapper for any table function call, like flatten. Flatten is a table function. Sorry about this, guys. I know this this was long, but how can I say? I had my own frustrations with this one. Maybe you too. Or if you are not confused already about this one, chances are you may have become confused as myself in the future.